myself, Tulim Mhlungu, sitting in Durban. We have Ms. Vuyo Kahla, who is sitting in East London. And we have Alison Lazarus sitting in Cape Town. So Dumelang Bagetsu, Sis Vuyo is going to get us started soon while others are joining us. We have exciting things lined up for us today. We are going to be introducing you to some new tools that you can use with partnerships, but also tools that you can also use when you start yourself. And one of those tools that Sis Vuyo is going to introduce us to now is a tool called Mentimeter. And let me take it over to Sis Vuyo. Welcome to our British Council team, Tabisa, Farid, and I'm sure Capeman is joining us today. Thank you, Sis Vuyo.
Thank you. Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to session 3. This is our 3rd week, second one for maintaining equitable and sustainable partnership. Let me start by thanking you guys for submitting your Google Classroom work. Most of you have submitted your work. I am impressed, ladies and gentlemen. Out of 29 participants, at least 20 participants managed to submit their work, and only 9 have not submitted your work. Thank you very much. I will hand over now to Ntabiseng, Emmanuel, and Poza in that order. Can you basically reflect on the workshop that was given to you last week? Ntabiseng, Emmanuel, and Mpoza, are you in the room? Hello? Hello? Hello?
I am in this boy.
That's Emmanuel.
Yes.
Can you reflect on the workshop? What were your findings when you were looking at the different steps for 2 minutes?
Okay, thank you. We have dealt with so many important things so far since we have started the workshop. And I think I'll just focus on how far we are, our school and our partner school. The most important aspect that we looked on is communication.
Yes.
And we realized that we and our partner school, the best way that we use for communication is WhatsApp, email, and mail.
Okay.
We realized that this WhatsApp enables us to get quicker in communicating, and it is the best way that each and every one of us is able to communicate to each other. And we have established a WhatsApp group where it involves the teachers of our school and our partners, where we share different materials, news, and we try to keep in touch.
Mm-hmm.
We also share our year plans, hence we are aware of when and how the activities will be carried out in each school. That is, for instance, we know the examination dates for our partner school. They know the examination dates for us. Our holidays such as St. David's Day Musheshe Stay, and etc. Our partnership helped us to recognize the prominence of people's voice or the learner's voice. And hence, this established student representative committee in our school, in which, especially at primary 11, was not a known thing. As a way forward, our schools have just got involved into the Twitter, and this is where each teacher will be matched up with the email of a parallel teacher so that they can directly communicate about matters or challenges regarding their classes. Let me say, maybe you have, I'm teaching grade 5 here in Lesotho, and our partner, another teacher from our partner school is teaching grade 5. So in this way, they will be able to communicate directly other than the large WhatsApp group that we have all together. So we are also working on shared Google Classroom platform where we can both share learners' work and lessons. I think for the past years, I would just say our focus was on music, dance, and different languages. So we managed to share that very well. Now we have established a very good link. Hence, we are focusing on sharing the actual learning the coming year, 2021 and onwards.
Okay.
So these steps are helping us a lot to reflect on how we are, where we are so far.
Okay. Before you leave us, can you tell me on what stage are you in terms of the 4 stages? Which stage are you in?
I think we so far, if I can say, we are in an expanding stage, if I get that correct.
Oh, okay. If you are the one who is basically working with your partner. So if you are on expanding, it means now you are ready to invite other people into the partnership. Okay. Thanks, Emmanuel, for that preparation. Can I ask Ntabiseng Ompoza, 2 minutes, guys? Reflect on the homework, on the Google classwork. Ntabiseng, are you in the room? Ntabiseng? Mpoza?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, yes, Ntabiseng, can you share your reflections about the Google classwork that you did last week?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Yes.
I'm from Ore. We partner, our school partners with Penigay School. And we are in a new partner now, in a new partnership.
Yes.
Yes, we are preparing.
Yes.
We are starting to know each other. And last year, as it was the first year to join this partnership. I went to Wales to visit my school. And when we arrived there, we have learned so much, the techniques and the way how they teach their children. And when I returned back, I was given a laptop. As here in Lesotho, we are to teach our children in grade 4 a word processing. Really, this was very grateful and it developed in our school, because now we are not assuming. Our children now are able practically using the laptops, the machine to type, and also we use that machine in our school to watch the videos with our children, the for learning and entertainment. Really, this is a very good experience in our school. And also, to improve or maintain this partnership, we are going to regularly communicate with our partner. And really, we will work hard with my colleagues respectively so that this partnership will be very fruitful forever and ever.
Thank you, Ntabiseng. Can you tell me, Ntabiseng, if you are still in the preparing stage, and when you look at that tool that was provided in Google Classroom, what percentage did you achieve? What percentage of the criteria did you achieve? You were given in the Google Classroom a number of activities that should be done during the preparation stage. How many items did you achieve there? And how many did you not achieve?
Okay, what we achieved now is that we have started that we are going to make the small project in our school.
Okay.
And just some of the projects, and we are still progressing. Yes, now we are rearing the pigs in our school, even though it's locked down, but still, with the support of the parents at school and our principal at school, everything is okay, and the pigs are developing greatly, and we are selling. Because we are rearing that pigs so that our children will exchange the meal.
Okay.
As now,
Thank you. Thank you, Ntabiseng. If I hear you correctly, you have tried, but you are not yet there in terms of achieving everything. But this is a learning curve. Okay. The last one, 2 minutes. The last one. Mpoza. Mpoza, can you respond? Okay. If Mpoza is not around, let me again say thank you for completing the Google Classroom work. And I have seen that most of you now have got the coordinator, they have got the partnership committees, the head teachers are basically involved, ground rules are in place, challenge is basically data, and some of you are saying we have just started and we're going to ensure that by the end of the partnership, we will be at the expanding stage. Thank you very much. Farid, do me a favor. The Mentimeter. Hello.
Yeah, Mtabiseng,
Okay, I'll
please switch off your
navigate there
video to save your
and share
data.
the slide.
Okay. There's an activity,
Level
guys. Please take your phones and in your browser, you type www.mentimeter, and then you are going to put in the number that you're going to see on the screen, and you respond there and you submit. Can you, Faris?
Are you able to see the Mentimeter screen?
No, there's Haka there.
Okay.
So that we can see it for now. Okay, there it is. We can see it now.
Okay.
We can see. Please, ladies and gentlemen, open up on your browser. You type Mentimeter and then you type join. It will require a code. You type 62 83939, and you respond to those questions. Go to www.menticom. Menticom, the code is 62. Okay, Sharon is fast. List the words, all the words that come to mind when you think about that partnership. Are you winning, guys? I'm looking forward to your voice. There are words coming. When you think about the partnerships, there's reflections, there's collaboration, there are outcomes. Type the words as they come. Let's go, guys. Mentimeter, join. There are the words you feel include the outcomes. Let's go. Let's go. Helpful, equitable, supportive, cordial, developmental, learning. You can see the cloud of words coming there. Let's form that cloud. Sustainability, curriculum base. Let's go, guys. Togetherness. Planning. There are 30 people in the room, so I'm expecting more. I'm expecting more on that cloud. Two more minutes on this. I hope you have all logged in. Cooperation. Understanding, teamwork. Teamwork.
You have one more minute, participant.
1 more minute, yes. Friendship. Achievement. reflection, equitable, collaboration.
Okay, 1 minute is up, Sis Vuyo.
1 minute is up. Thank you very much. The reason we are doing this on Mentimeter, remember only 2 people were given time to report on the reflection. When we ask a question on Mentimeter, we're trying to give all of you a voice so that you comment in terms of the homework. And indeed, when you look at those words that you see on that cloud on Mentimeter, then this is the beginning basically of what we call the growth mindset. It starts with collaboration, it starts by being supportive, it starts by working with others, it starts by seeing challenges, because it also starts when there's a desire to learn. I saw the word learning. When there's a growth mindset, you will see all those words. And the reason we have partnerships is because we want you to grow. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next activity. Faris, can you take me to the first next question? What have you done to nurture your partnership? What have you done to nurture your partnership? Can you respond to that? Put the code 6283939. And what have you done to nurture your partnership? 5 minutes again for that. Let's have those words coming to see what you have done to nurture your partnership. Whole group, guys, must respond. What have you done to nurture your partnership? The words are not coming. Agreed communication plan. Action planning. Wow. What have you done? Establishing adequate communication platform and action. Wow. Getting a buy-in from the head of the school, including the learners and the teachers. Time-bounded action planning. Strengthen ways of communication. Regular calls and chats with partnerships, with partner schools. Two minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 1 more minute. Indeed, these are the things that you need to do to nurture your partnership. A clear communication plan, and you need to agree with your partner school. Get in a buy-in from the head of the school, including the learners and the teachers. Time-bounded action plans, agreeing on roles and responsibilities, making objectives together, that is the action plan, suitable ways of communicating, strengthening the ways of communication, establishing adequate communication platform and action planning, regular calls and chats with partner schools, engaging on the pen pals, writing and video messages with learners. You can see that communication goes across, and action planning, and a clear action plan, and clear roles and responsibilities. Those are the things that you need to do to nurture the partnerships. Okay, the last one, Faris. Can we move on? Our time is up. Okay.
I don't think the last question.
Yeah, it's not for this group. Faris, can you take out? And then let's move on to the video, first video.
Okay, so I will stop presenting for a moment and bring up the video.
Yes.
The power of yet. I heard about a high school in Chicago where students had to pass a certain number of courses to graduate, and if they didn't pass a course, they got the grade not yet. And I thought that was fantastic, because if you get a failing grade, you think, I'm nothing, I'm nowhere. But if you get the grade not yet, you understand that you're on a learning curve. It gives you a path into the future. Not yet also gave me insight into a critical event early in my career, a real turning point. I wanted to see how children coped with challenge and difficulty. So I gave 10-year-olds problems that were slightly too hard for them. Some of them reacted in a shockingly positive way. They said things like, I love a challenge, or, I was hoping this would be informative. They understood that their abilities could be developed. They had what I call a growth mindset. But other students felt it was tragic, catastrophic. From their more fixed mindset perspective, their intelligence had been up for judgment, and they failed. Instead of luxuriating in the power of yet.
Thank you, Faris. Thank you, Faris, for that video.
Okay.
The power of yet. And The reason we included that video, there are basically two reasons we included that video. It's the power of yet, in that if you have not reached the last stage, which is expanding, or if you have not achieved at the stage that you are in, you must understand that you are on a learning curve. The reason we gave you the Google Classroom was to ensure that we give you an insight in terms of your partnership. What is it that you have achieved and you need to appreciate, and what is it that you need to work on? What is it that you need to start journaling because it's building up on your case study? It's also to saying, in a partnership, we said last week, a partnership is not a straight line. There will be curves, there will be challenges, and we are saying if there are challenges, you'll cope with the challenges. It's just that you need to ensure that you keep on communicating, you keep on agreeing on the roles and responsibilities. This takes me back to some of the comments that you made in the classroom, in the Google Classroom, where some of you were saying, at the moment, we don't have challenges. Everything is just moving smoothly. There will be challenges at certain points, and we are saying embrace the challenges as they come. And if you begin to embrace the challenges as they come, then it basically says the growth mind is going to set in. And in terms of the growth mind, I will say in terms of the workshops that we're doing, one of the things that we want to basically achieve is that you learn and inspire other people. Hence, there's this partnership. Secondly, we are saying if you have got a growth mindset, it actually says see the challenges as the stepping stone. We need to identify the challenges as possible, and then we plan for them. Like if you are still in step number 1, that is preparing, and you realize that you have not achieved most of the things that you're supposed to achieve, it's now time to work on those. Again, lastly, it all depends on your effort. A growth mind requires one to put an effort in terms of what you are doing. And lastly, the growth mind requires you to have a desire to learn. Let's have a desire to learn. Let's have a desire to change ourselves. Let's have a desire to change our schools. Unfortunately, to change schools, it always starts with us. And the moment we embrace change and we are eager to learn, we will have a ripple effect and our schools will basically change. Thank you very much. Any questions in terms of that homework? Okay, we're just reflecting on what we did as homework. Okay, let's move on. Okay, last week I came with this plant. I came with a plant, and I started nurturing this plant, and I have realized that having nurtured this plant for a week, because I said this is going to be part of my homework, I have seen that it's nurtured and it has grown double. And I'm sure from last week up until now, you also, like this plant, have changed. I have definitely changed. I'm not the same person I was last week because of the interactions that I have had with you from Wednesday up until now. So I can imagine with your partnerships, you are also going to change. And I like that author who says, if you put good people in bad system, you get bad results. You have to water the flowers you want to grow. Hence, I am nurturing this plant that I'm having in front of me. Okay. We've played the video, Faris. We can move.
We can move, Faris.
Then I have given you homework, which is basically pre-reading. We're still on Google Classroom and reflecting on your homework. Now there was pre-reading in terms of the Belbin Dream Team. And I want Tibelo, Nzane, and Julia to basically share with us the roles they have identified for themselves in that Belbin, and what are the roles that are available in your partnership. This was homework for everyone, but I would love if these three people can basically share with us what roles are there in their partnerships. Tebelo, Zane, and Julia.
I'm here.
Was that?
Nigeria, I'm ready to present.
Yes, present, my dear. Share with us in terms of that.
So the what do you call this one? The Belbin team roles.
The Belbin team, yes.
Yes, they are all together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is that a team member should have or should at least have one or two of those. And then when I was looking at this, thinking about myself, I thought I had 2 or 3, but then the question asked me to talk about no more than 3. Therefore, I looked at them again. Then I saw that I'm a good communicator. That one I'm sure of. Then what does it entail to be a good communicator? To be a good communicator, you have to have certain skills, like the listening skills, to be a straight talker, to be able to hear the non-verbal communication, and then the emotional communication. So since I'm a teacher, these ones I master all, because those are the things that we basically have to use in each and every time when we talk. So in a team, since my partnership is new, and then when my partnership is new, we are still in the beginning phase. I don't know what phase that one is. So I looked at this building teamwork with the situation at my workplace.
Yes.
Then I picked the good communicator. Then when we are a good communicator, you have to have confidence. You have to be clear and concise, and then you have to be self-aware. Be aware of yourself, how you talk. You have to speak simple, understandable things that people can easily understand. So that one is another quality that I have. Then the other one that I teach that I know I have is being creative.
Yes.
When you're a creative person, you are taking risks, you are breaking the routine, not doing something that is normally done. You want to try new things. In terms of problem solving, you want to solve the problem using the new ways that have never been used. So that one is my strength in this in the Belbim what we call this one, the Belbim team roles. So I
Yes.
look at those 2 qualities that these ones I'm sure that I have. Then what I
Yes.
did yesterday when I was preparing for this presentation was that I asked my teammates, that is people whom I'm working with, people who know me very well, people whom we meet in each and every day, people who have been in groups or in committees with them. Then I asked them, I made the list of these qualities. Then I asked them to pick those that they know for sure that I have, those qualities that they know I possess as a team member. And then they gave a number of those, but those that were common, I asked 4 people, and those that were common for the 4 people were that I am creative, were that I'm a good communicator. So they stamped on what I thought I had. And then some said they also mentioned the point of being objective and then the point of being reliable. So those are those that are picked by my team here where I work.
Oh,
Then when
1
I
minute.
asked you, excuse me again?
1 minute.
Yes. So together as a team with people whom I'm working with, yay, this one was hard because we are different, but I think we are practical. We form a team of practical people, less organized. We are not so organized. And then, oh, yes, because when you're talking about a team of many people, then there are so many things that are involved. But I think we are practical with my team. We can communicate well. Oh, we are even being able to solve the problems. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that preparation. Pasha for you. And then the next one, Sane.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, my dear.
Okay, thank you. I in this Belbin team roles, I picked the three. Those are good communicator, hard worker, and the last one is practical. As for the one of being a good communicator, I believe I'm the person who is able to share and exchange ideas. So looking at the link, this role is important in our partnership because it will make strong relationship between our schools. And also, I think I have the good communication skills such as listening and also using the suitable approaches. Coming to the one of being a hard worker, I think I'm not afraid of the challenges. What I believe is that the challenges are meant to strengthen us. Um, Rather, I believe that the challenges we should turn them into our stepping stones towards our success. Um, the last one, which is the being practical, I think
Yes.
I'm the person who like to try new things. When I have learned something which is new, I like to also to implement it. And also I believe that we should not give up if things did not go well.
Okay. Thank you, Ndate. Julia, are you in the room? The essence of this activity, thanks for identifying yourselves. You need to ensure that in your team, you have got a different, you have all those different skills, like your coordinators, your people that are planners, your people that are monitor evaluators, people who are complete finishers, people who are specialists, people who are shapers, people who are resources, and investigators and implementers. And it's very, very important that we need to ensure for our team to function properly. We need various skills in our team. Julia, before I go to the video on the Belbin, Julia, are you in the room? I saw you logging in. Okay, if Julia is not in the room, can we go to the video which will assist us to see the different team roles and the impact they have on our partnerships. Faris, the video, second video.
It's a team dynamic. Most people think of one name, Dr. Raymond Belbin. He's the leading authority on team roles, and his research spans more than 40 years. In 1991, he published a book called Management Teams, and his theories are still being applied in organizations across the world today. Belbin was interested in how different strengths and weaknesses meant that people contributed in different ways. In his model, Belbin identified 9 different roles which fall into 3 distinct categories. Each role had clear behavioral and interpersonal strengths as well as weaknesses. Belbin believed that a successful team would need to have a mixture of individuals from each of the roles. A team would be unbalanced if all of its members have similar styles of behavior. For example, if all team members have similar weaknesses, the team as a whole will be defined by that weakness. It could even be a problem if team members have similar strengths. Belbin found that people with similar strengths tend to compete for the tasks and responsibilities that best suit their natural styles, rather than cooperate for the good of the team. Belbin went into great detail to describe the typical strengths and weaknesses of each role. Perhaps the most interesting part of his work is how he describes the way different roles interact with each other. Belbin suggests that by understanding your role within a particular team, you can develop your strengths and manage your weaknesses as a team member, and so improve how you contribute to the team.
Thank you on that video. It actually say we need, for our teams to function perfectly well, we need the different roles, and I like the way Belbin has combined the different roles. We have the action-oriented roles, we have the people-centered roles, we have the thought-oriented roles. We need all those in our schools and in our partnerships so that we support each other. And basically it's saying, let us all be the best version of ourselves, and let us ensure that we play our role in our schools and in our partnerships. Thank you very much. Let me hand over to Tuli. I think I've given you enough voice today. There was a lot of interaction amongst the participants. Okay, Tuli, can you take over?
Can we say halala, Sis Vuyo, halala?
Halala, Tuli, halala.
Halala. Thank you very much, Sis Vuyo.
Halala.
And thank you, Faris, for running the slides for us. And I love how you demonstrated that new school Mentimeter for us, and we acknowledge the participants for wanting to get in there and get involved. We acknowledge those who found themselves frustrated. I know when you want to learn something new, you want to get it right the first time around. So no worries, the link will still be there on Google Classrooms, and you can follow it through. Faris, if you can please share the slides for us while we continue. So Sis Vuyo, thank you for that roundup. So for me to be able to go to my session, just a little bit of reminder of where we are now. Last week, Sis Vuyo had a conversation with us, and we started looking at ourselves and our partnerships in the different partnership steps. So those who have shared with us in the beginning have shared that some people feel that they're in the preparation stage. Some people are in the preparation and they've gone up to the development stage. There are some people who are in the embedding stage, and we even had somebody share who is in the expanding stage. So again, just a reminder that our partnerships are about, the process and taking the journey that we are in together. And in our partnerships as well, as I think as Belbin has just pointed out with his Belbin you know, styles and the suggestions that he's making about who needs to be in a team, let's not forget that, you know, when we're looking for people to play in our team, as that illustration was done, as in a soccer team, let's not forget the guiding principles that we agreed upon. You know, as we start our partnership relationships, we agreed that, you know, we're looking at creating partnerships that are educational, so partnerships that are equity-based, and partnerships that are sustainable long-term. For example, we had a participant sharing about, you know, that she's already been, Umtabi saying, been on a visit to Wales. And what I got from what she was sharing was that, you know, both partners decided to sit down, and they decided that the best way to communicate between the two partners is if they used, for example, a resource like the laptop. I would love to assume, Ntabi saying, that in that partnerships, both partners agreed that this would be the best investment to make in the partnerships, you know, instead of us thinking of it as, you know, our partners in the UK gave the Lesotho school a laptop, because the minute we start using that language, then, you know, we start questioning whether there's equity, because then there will be a power, remember the power imbalance that we started talking about. So Fariz, I'm noticing that I'm not able to request control. So can I ask you to operate the slide for me? So we have there now, my part is just to be able to take you through where is this partnership journey taking us, right? Fariz, please.
Okay, I have the slide up. Are you able to see it?
Yes, I'm able to see it, but I'm just not able to take control so that I can move it myself. So I'm going to ask you to move it so long until I can see.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said again, Mrs. Vuyo has laid a fantastic foundation for us to start thinking about the steps that we need to take. What are those things that we need to think about when we start creating partnerships, and who are we wanting to invite in the partnerships? We are very clear about sometimes the skills that we have, but we need to be thinking about what type of people do we need to have in our partnerships for it to be an educational partnership, an equity-based partnership, and a sustainable long-term partnership. So where are we trying to go, right? If you look at this picture, you can see that we have, again, this picture of different cultures. Remember, we are talking about global partnerships here. So different cultures. And if you can see the vision again, it has to be curriculum based, and we're looking at something that is going to be educational. So the partnership journey will start by challenging us, you know, as partners. We'll start by, can somebody see? We'll start by changing us, right? We'll be transforming us, and will be improving us, you know, not just as a school, but as teachers. And remember, our partnerships we agreed last week are going to be learner-centered. So we also want to think about how our learners will be challenged, how our learners will be changed by the partnership, how they will be transformed, and how they can say to us or demonstrate that they have improved, right? So there's 3 levels of impact that we have identified. So that we want to focus on, and that we want to see in the partnership. So the first level is we want to see increasingly effective and wide-reaching school enrichment and global citizenship practice. So that is why we are here together, right? Remember, when we started meeting together, we started introducing this language of global fluency. We talked about how it is when we start meeting as different cultures, and we even started identifying some of the assumptions that we make about each other. So that's part of the global citizenship practice that we want to see improving and being enriched in our schools, right? We very importantly, want in the partnerships to see a developing staff expertise. So we are not just going into partnership because we want to have fun or we want to know better about the UK. Yes, that's important, but we want to make sure that in partnerships that we are involved in, we can demonstrate that the skills or the expertise of our teachers have been improved. Again, the third one, we want to be able to focus on capacity building for equitable, sustainable partnerships. I keep stressing the equitable, sustainable partnerships. Remember when we started talking about equity, we said it is very important for us to understand that partnerships means two equal schools engaging with each other as equals. So both schools will be contributing something of equal to the partnerships, and hence it is called a partnership. Faris? So just a quick one so that I can know if you're still there. I will look in your WhatsApp chats, and Sis Vuyo will look in the participants group on Teams, right? When you look up at these three impact levels, right? So one is the increasing the effective, wide reaching and enrichment, of global citizenship practice. The second one is developing staff expertise. And the third one is capacity building. So when you're looking at your particular partnership with your link schools, as you're sitting now, right? You see they numbered 1, 2, and 3. So in the WhatsApp chat or in the Teams chat, can you rank them as how you feel are important? So for example, if for me, my partnership, so if I was in a partnership and we were already in the embedding stage, so it means that we have met already and we have started developing and preparing for the partnership. So we are together already. So I would rank them 2, 3, and 1, because I believe 1 is something that you can mainstream and it's something that will be continuous as we continue even into the expanding stage. So just quickly, I'll give you just 2 minutes for this exercise. Can you rank where you think these are for yourselves in order of importance? So which one do you think would be most important for you and your link schools to focus on in terms of levels of impact? So can I just give you 2 minutes for this? I'll play music just to see if you're there. Can you rank, please? 2 minutes starts now. I can see my responses are starting to come up fast and furious. Thank you. I see Lillian. Lillian has ranked it 2, 3, and 1. Thank you, Lillian. I see Limpo. Limpo saying her rank would be 2 and 1. Anything coming up in the chat? So there's 2, 3, and 1. I think developing staff expertise is coming up as something that is very important for us. So thank you for sharing that. So can we remember that as we start engaging in our partnerships? Anything coming up in the chat, Sis Vuyo? So I see in the chat all 3 and 1 and 2. So the ranking, there's some people feel that they would make capacity building for equitable, sustainable partnerships as important. And then 1 and then 3 and 2, sorry. So thank you very much. Mike, the 2 minutes is up for the activity, and the whole purpose of this ranking activity is just, again, remember we've come out from seeing Belbin, we've come out of talking about our preparation, developing, embedding, and expanding. So it's very important for us in the partnerships to start thinking about those things that we want to achieve. And also when we start linking with our partner schools and are having those conversations, for there to be equity, we need to agree on what it is as partners, or what we want to prioritize as partners. So thank you very much. Faris, can I move to the next slide? Okay, so one of the examples, for example, that we had from a school in Lebanon who had a partner with a school in the UK. So one of the feedback that they gave us, which was something that demonstrated that to them, the teacher development aspect was very important in their partnership. So this is the feedback we have from a teacher from Lebanon. It's simple but important. An unforgettable experience which left a special mark in my personal life and added a vital asset to my development as a teacher. So this partnership, which was between the Link School in the Lebanon and the UK, they could demonstrate and by giving us evidence of how this teacher found that it was a partnership that not only achieved, you know, the whole school development, but the teachers in the school felt like they were personally, you know, developed. So they achieved that particular learning outcome. So Faris, thank you. Next slide. Okay, so this comes up a lot when we're having a conversation about partnership. So let's have a conversation about this, right? And have a conversation about some of the pointers that we want to have. So it's all well and good that we're going through these steps, but we keep saying that we want sustainable and long-term partnership. So the question that must be coming up for most of us is resourcing our long-term partnership activities, right? How can partnerships be sustained when funding runs out? Can fundraising affect the equality of partnerships? How can we fundraise in ways which support equality? So these are some of the questions that usually come up when we discuss partnerships, right? So one of the things that happens, you know, in partnerships like this is that we become very heavily dependent on the grant that we get, which is good because the grant is there to help us form our partnerships and to help us get through stages where we are able to have partnerships that add value. And we do our own contributions as schools to the social, the SDG goals, right, that we focus on. The one thing that we need to think about, and which is why I think these questions are very powerful, is we need to start thinking while we are planning and while we are having those relationships in the beginning stages with our link schools. We need to start thinking about, or if not talking about, how do we think about ways of sustaining our partnerships when the grant comes out, right? Because remember, we're going to visit each other, and then we may need, for example, to raise money to support each other when we visit, to do certain activities that will be of joint benefit to both partners. And like Ntabiseng said, you know, how do we raise funding, for example, in a way where partners both contribute to that buying of that laptop, which is going to serve the interests of both partners. But at the same time, how do we make sure that that buying of the laptop does not only maybe come from the UK school because they have a pound that is strong? How do we make sure that it's a joint agreement that the partnership is buying the laptop to be utilized for the communication of the partnership, so that we don't have a situation where one partner now feels that they have power over the other partner because they are the partner that is consistently bringing resources to the table. Just some positively disruptive questions that help us think about these things. Faris, next slide, please. Can I come back to the slides, Faris? Can you give me the next slide? I'll come back to this one. Okay, So, right, so these are some of the principles that I want us to think about when we're talking about resourcing our partnerships. It's important for us to remember that when we're talking about resourcing our partnerships, again, it's about us knowing that we are focusing on, remember we said when Vuyo shared with us last week, I came up with something that I thought to myself, okay, these must be what we call vital signs for our partnerships. When we decide, for example, to do a fundraiser, or we decide to do anything that is supposed to benefit the partnership, we need to look at these vital signs first. Those vital signs that Vuyo raised with us last week, whatever we do and whatever we'll be focused on has to be something that will be curriculum based, right? So it will help us focus on something that is going to improve our curriculum. We also want to be able to check who our beneficiary is. One of the vital signs that came out last week, for example, is us looking at children who are similar ages. We want to look at equity. So when we want to come up with a fundraising idea, for example, we need to also be very conscious that if we come up with things that can be easily done in the UK, but not easily done in Lesotho, then we'll have a situation where the partners in the UK maybe get to a position where they feel like they're doing most of the work, therefore raising a lot of the money. And it may beg then the question of whether then they should not have more say in what the partnership says. So it's very important to realize that for you to have an equitable partnership, think about things that are going to raise money that both partners can do. And if you agree on embarking on, let's say, projects that can only be done in Lesotho or can only be done in the UK, do make sure it's the kind of partnership or the kind of project that both partners can contribute in so that they can have ownership of the combined income. Again, there's a slide that I love. This is Vuyo shared. I think it was a little animal. I'm really scared to say the name of that animal because I'm not sure. But what that animal was telling us last week was that small is good, right? So when we're thinking about resourcing partnerships, if you decide then to go and do a partnership that is going to join a partnership and focus on an SDG and decide to intervene by doing something that is going to require a lot of money or input in terms of finances in the beginning, yes, it's going to affect the kind of momentum that you build as a partnership, because you'll always be in survival mode as a partnership. You'll be looking for money all the time, but you want to be able to be in a partnership and you want to be able to work on projects that will help you achieve that 231 or 213 that you want. Remember in the slide that we talked about before, right? So principles there again, just to summarize. So we want to continue to develop the partnership. So we don't want to engage in activities that are going to put strain in relationships, because we are creating situations where one partner has power over the other. So find fundraising methods that complement the desired learning outcomes, right? I have said I'll develop learning outcomes, something that is educational, equity-based, and sustainable. Again, equity-based. I keep stressing this. I don't know whether it's because I'm a lawyer by profession, but equity-based means that you really have to be conscious that you're working as a partnership, and everybody and every partnership has a voice in what you come out with in the end. Next slide, Faris. So my question, the big question is, right, are our partnership resources only finances? I'm raising these questions because I think we get stuck sometimes on just the money. Yes, there's grants. Yes, there's resources that we need to buy, maybe some of the things that will enable us to communicate better as a partner. Yes, there's resources that will come with the grant, maybe to support our travel, the stipend, and all of that. So I don't want to minimize that. But I do want us to start thinking about what are some other resources that we may need to pay attention to, right? So in my reading, there's an entrepreneur that I like to follow on LinkedIn because he's a fantastic innovator, and he's somebody that, you know, embraces change, and he has been able to start various entrepreneurial ventures. And these are the 5 resources, you know, that I think are there, and they sometimes matter even more than money. Not that the money doesn't matter. Yes, we want, as the Lesotho partner says, we need the money. But I would like to encourage us to focus on these 5 additional resources, right? So the first resource I want to mention is time, right? This is sometimes an obvious but not so obvious resource. When you want to be in a sustainable long-term partnerships, you have to give the resource of your time, right? So one of the things that we have to do, like we have committed to giving 2 hours of our time for the next couple of weeks on a Thursday, because we want to be prepared. We want to be good at the preparing and developing stage of our partnerships so that we can link with our link schools, right? So time is a resource that we need to think about so that we can all then decide how much time we're giving to the partnership. We need to decide this with our link schools, what time and how much time and how many times we do a week. And just so that we have a conversation, that we be careful not to give more time than we can get, because then we will challenge ourselves in terms of integrity, and it creates tensions in a team where people show up at an allocated time, at an agreed amount of time, and some people are not going to be able to fulfill those obligations because that resource of time is either you've given too much or you are giving too little of it, therefore it's not contributing to an equitable and sustainable partnership, right? So the second other resource that I want us to think about as partners is your physical energy. So I know sometimes this may not be coming out as obvious because we are living during an epidemic, so we are not thinking yet of meeting face to face, but these are things that we need to think about. So when we want to be in a long-term sustainable partnership, there are things that we're going to have to do. There are things that we're going to have to volunteer to, depending on our strengths. Remember the Belbin's strengths in a team. So there'll be different people with different strengths. So when you identify that as a cluster, then people can know that they need to also budget their physical energy. For example, it takes physical energy for us to be able to prepare for these meetings week in and week out. Also preparing, thinking about the possibility of our network and things not working well. So that is physical energy, but we are committed because we are passionate about this journey, and we are passionate about the things that we want to achieve for our schools, our country, and globally. So the third resource that is mentioned as that could be even more important than money is focus. You think focus is not a resource? Think about when you start planning something, or even time, as simple as you decide that on Saturday morning you want to spend time with your children. And you're going to spend time and it's going to be about the children. Watch what happens, right? So many other things come in the way that steal your focus away from your children. So focus is a resource that as partners we need to think about. So as we are doing now, we have committed to spending 2 hours with each other on a Thursday afternoon. It requires our focus. It requires that we need to cut ourselves out from all the other distractions for the 2 hours that we together, so that we can be present and we can learn as much as we can from this community of learning platform that we're sharing. I won't go too much on the fourth talent, which is talents, because I think Belbin and the video that Vuyo just played for us demonstrates that a lot. Yes, you cannot have a soccer team that is good and effective that only has strikers and defenders. or a soccer team and with no goalkeeper, because that is not going to be an effective soccer team. So I think that's what Belbin illustrates. So we need to be very conscious about each other's talents. And when you identify your talent, again, it's going to require us committing our talents to this process so that we have an equitable partnership. Remember, I'm not talking about the schools in Lesotho only. I'm also talking about some of the points that you will be raising with your link schools to create an equitable partnerships. I think for me, the most important is emotional energy, because emotional energy, again, links to the purpose, the passion, and your drive for teaching and learning, your drive and passion for your students, your learning of students, and your passion for global learning, and your passion about the mutual SDG goal that you as partners have chosen to focus on. This is going to require emotional energies, because when some partners are feeling that things are not going well or they're not seeing process, you have to commit to be one of those individuals in the partnership who's going to keep putting emotional energy so that we can have partnerships that last as long as, for example, if not more, as Mr. Polka's partnership, who was our guest speaker when we started the program. So I hope it makes sense. This is just to introduce that yes, I'm not saying Amaloti are not important, but there's other resources that are important that will give us energy to be able to do those equitable fundraising drives that are going to benefit all partners, right? Faris? Faris? Yeah. So that is the entrepreneur. On LinkedIn, he's called a disruptive entrepreneur and serial innovator. His name is Kurt Theobald. So he is the guy that I learned these other 5 resources that I also need to invest in if I want to enter in a partnership that is equitable, right? So the one word that I would like you to remember from this presentation, and every time you get tempted to get yourself stuck on we don't have enough money, start thinking about managing the abundance you already possess. One of the things that we have noticed as we have started again is how teachers and how everybody who's committed to be on this call, how you've engaged us on and off this platform. You've continued to engage on Google Classroom. People have shared very generously when they've been asked to share. They don't just share, but they prepare for sharing. So surely that's an abundance that we already possess, right? Because we can share, we can communicate. We've demonstrated that we have the physical energy to do this because we continue doing the Mentimeter exercise, even though things are not working well. So let's manage the abundance we already possess, right? So, Faris? Okay. So I think this is one of the readings. I think what I'll do, I will just put this on WhatsApp. I'll take a picture and post it on WhatsApp so that you can see it. But this is what got me when I was looking at preparing for the session. I thought I would just put here and tell you what are some of the things, for example, I pick up from, I call him my friend now, Kurt. So I think he says, okay, manage the abundance you already possess. We become confused as a society to believe that money is the fundamental resource, the primary standard of progress. But you can operate differently. So we can operate differently. You can become a societal dissident for the good. So you are a deeply wealthy person if only you change your reference and manage the abundance resources you already have. If you measure in dollars, in our case in pounds or in iloti, you lose. If you measure by the deeper resources you have, plenty. So no more excuses of not having enough. Time to do the hard work of managing and investing well in what it's time to do the hard work in managing and investing well in what we already possess, right? So it also goes to what we said, I think, in the beginning of, again, the principle of Ubuntu. And we said in Sesotho, Ubuntu, I am because we are. So there's so much we can give, even to our partner schools in the UK, which is the abundance that comes from us just from the fact that we are of an African culture, right? So Fariz, I'm going to just to round up, Fariz, I'm going to ask you to play the haka video. So while Fariz is still uploading the haka video, just so I explain the concept of rugby. So rugby is a sport in South Africa, I know, right? I just had to show rugby because it's one of the things I'm proud of in my country. We just won the Rugby 2019 World Cup, and that was huge for us, right? So I want us to take the lesson, though, from our biggest opponents, which is the New Zealand rugby team, one of the best rugby teams in the world. They have what they call the haka. The haka now is one exercise that they do every time before they meet opponents. They come as a team and they do this dance that shows unity in strength. So I found this, video on the internet that demonstrates that this haka that has become something that people are so in awe of today started not today, right? So if you look at this video, I want you to have at the back of your mind the preparing, the developing, embedding, expanding stage, and focus and imagine if you were part of the New Zealand team and you had to learn this dance. Let's see how they have progressed over the years. Thank you, Fariz.
Alongside number 12 there, Mike Gibson.
Fariz. Okay. Fariz, can everybody still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Please say halala.
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 Halala. Halala.
Thank you.
Halala.
My internet, Thank you. My internet keeps dipping and dipping out. Faris, while you take us back to the slides, I think just a quick one, right? If just go back, Faris. Yeah, if we stay here, I just want to hear from, I'll ask two people and some people, and the other people, please respond in the chats and on the WhatsApp group. In the Haka, what are some of the things that you're noticing about the partnerships? Like you saw in the video, right? You noticed how the Haka started. A few individuals who were trying to do this dance, and we are trying to be scary, but not very scary. And that was in 1925. And then you saw how that Haka grew to the powerful, fighting almost instrument that was used against the South African team that is quite intimidating. So how can you relate that development of the Haka, people working in team, the passion that led to the partnership? Anything that is coming to you? Please put in the chats, put in the WhatsApp group, or if you have a comment, please lift up your hand. Remember, we have that resource. Let me hear. What are you learning from the Haka? Faris will put the clip up again on WhatsApp and you can watch it later. But those people who have seen, what can you tell us? I'm going to give you 2 minutes just to think. I can see you already on WhatsApp. I can see from Lucy, the one thing that Lucy is saying, she's noticing oneness. Yes.
Yes.
There's no way that you can have a united Haka when there's no oneness, right? I can see preparation. I can see teamwork. Thank you. I can see team spirit, intrinsic motivation.
Wow.
Don't you think that Haka immediately demonstrates all the other resources that I say they have on the field at the time? Nobody's talking money. Everybody's talking about those 5 resources that we've just spoken about. What is coming up, Vuyo, on the chat?
There's nothing on the chat, my dear.
Solidarity and unity.
Yes.
I see solidarity and unity and cooperative, being cooperative and teamwork brings good results and victories.
Thank you so much. So I think as a lawyer, I would say I rest my case. We need to manage the abundance we already possess because sustainable partnerships are formed by passionate people. And what you can also notice in that partnership, sometimes you have to allow people to lead according to their strengths. When you notice the Haka in 1925, there was nobody really leading and people were not seeing who's forward and people were not working according to their strength. Come the Haka in later years, they've identified a cheerleader, somebody who's got a deep voice, somebody who's got that passion, who's going to be able to garner the team and keep people passionate and moving, even before a big game like that. So those are some of the resources that we can enhance because we have an abundance of those resources. So halala to everybody and halala to our strong and equitable partnerships. As I hand over to another passionate presenter, Sis Ali, who's sitting in Cape Town, who's going to take us now on trying to summarize again where we are, what we've learned so far, and where we want to go as our partners. Sis Ali, over to you.
Thanks, Thuli. Thanks, Thuli, and thanks, Dee, for bringing us to this point. Faris, I'm unable to request control, so please can you take me to the next slide? I understand that we will end the session at 4 o'clock. So let's just see what we have accomplished and what we have covered in the last 2 sessions that we've had this week and last week. So key to a sustainable and equitable partnership is having a long-term goal as well as short-term goals. The long-term goal for all of us is to maintain a long friendship, a global friendship that develops over years and through various projects that we have over the time cycle. We also think that a key sustainable and equitable partnership is a partnership that will go beyond the British Council funding. What we can also say that we've learned over the past 2 weeks is that we need to consider the long-term aspirations of our partnership and come up with longer-term goals, not just project goals, which can last a year, but a longer-term goal linked to the global themes that we've identified. And in this instance, the global themes related to the Sustainable Development Goals, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And if I think back to what you presented after the session on the 14th, a lot of you had identified Sustainable Goal 3, 6, 11, 12. It had to do with food security. It had to do with wellness and health. It had to do with equitable and equal education. Take one goal and break it down into elements that might need to be developed. We've seen how we develop over a period of time from planning to really to expanding. And for each of those things to expand, we need to be able to take a goal and break it down into its elements and develop each of those elements, whether it is fundraising, skill development, or challenges that will present themselves. Look at each goal in terms of these 3 things: fundraising, associated skill development, the challenges that will present itself, and for each of those goals, work on those various parts. The next slide, please. Let's revisit the learning outcomes. We said we wanted to be able to evaluate partnerships and consider how this can contribute to a growth mindset. You recall the video and you recall the assessment, not yet. We don't use the word failure. We use the word goal not yet achieved, because we are on a growth path and we work towards achieving a goal, and we start the journey with achievement in mind, and we assess along the way. We don't fail. We check how far we are to achieving a goal. Have we achieved it yet or not yet? Focusing on the guiding principles of equitable and sustainable partnerships. Those guiding principles, if I can remind you, are that our partnership needs to be focused on curriculum and educational goals towards achieving global citizenship, that the partnerships need to be equity-based, that is, they need to be reciprocal, and thirdly, they need to be sustainable. They need to be long-term. We looked at exploring exploring a joint plan for a joint project, and we discussed the various stages at which you are currently, and with SISV, you looked at where you are in your partnership towards achieving a joint project. We highlighted the value and importance of communication, how we communicate, how we speak authentically and with integrity and honestly, and how we do this with great respect for each other's difference. Each of us come to this partnership with different skills, with different cultural capital, and we add this to the partnership. Where there is misunderstanding, we aim for understanding, and where there are disputes, we aim to resolve them. And we settle all of these up front, we plan ahead, and we say how we will solve these issues, how we will solve our disputes, and how we will build on our assets. We appreciate the benefits of involving others. When Sis Tuli was talking about fundraising and how it's got to be more than money, people are assets. People are resources, and they can bring to these partnerships all kind and manner of capital, especially their experiences, their contacts, their networks, their abilities and their competencies. And so we always don't have to be the ones to do things. Extend your network, involve other people in these networks, and therefore make your partnership durable and sustainable. We've also understood the purpose of resourcing in partnerships, and as Kurt says, make use of what you have right now. Recognize what you have right now. Can I have the next slide, please, Fariz? So this slide will be pasted up on the Google Classrooms, and it will be sent as a slide via WhatsApp. All of us will do this assessment, but I want to take the time to do 2 or 3 of the questions on this assessment with you before I end with you telling me how you feel about today's sessions. So let's just take explaining one stage of the project life cycle. All right, there are about 5 stages to this project life cycle. Can someone either in the chat session on Microsoft Teams or on WhatsApp identify the 5 stages to the project life cycle very quickly? You've got 30 seconds to do so. What are the 5 stages of the joint project life cycle? Anything coming up on the WhatsApp, Tuli?
They're still typing.
Still typing. Okay, Sisvi. You can also use the Meet session on Microsoft Teams.
In the WhatsApp, there's expanding, but I think expanding is the step. There's the planning stage.
Yes. Followed by,
I think they followed by developing, but developing is a step. Feedback.
Okay, let me just clarify something for you here very quickly, colleagues. I'm not asking you to look at the stages of partnership development. I'm asking you to look at the more macro level of the project life cycle. It has 5 steps to it. What are those 5 steps?
There's feedback.
Yes.
There's review. There's evaluation. Yes. There's monitoring. There's planning stage.
Yeah. So if we put this together in order, it will be the planning stage, the initial stage where you show what you've done to your own school and to your own partners in Lesotho. Then there's the sharing with your third stage, which is sharing with your partner in Wales. Then it's about giving feedback to each other. Then it's about responding to feedback. And then it's about evaluating. Okay, so there you have to conduct those 5 to 6 stages for each of your projects, okay? Let me take one very quickly.
Lillian
one
has
more. And this I would like any one of you to answer. Raise your hand using Microsoft Teams, or switch on your video and answer the question. And the question that I would like is identify one of the 3 guiding principles to build the foundation of a professional partnership. Anyone? Switch on your mics and answer the question. There are 3 guiding principles to build a foundation. Name any one of them.
Equity-based.
Go ahead.
Equity-based.
Equity-based, correct.
Yes.
Thank you so much. What are the other 2? Anyone? Switch on your mic.
Developing staff expertise.
No, it's not a principle for building a foundation. It's an impact of building a good professional partnership. Pardon?
sustainable.
Sustainable, yes, long term. Correct. And the first one?
Educational.
Anyone? Educational, yes. Thank you very much, colleagues. So here are 10 questions. We would like you to do this as follow-up to this session, and then we will give some feedback on that in our next session next week. Right now, what I would like you to do is to think about this journey about building sustainable partnerships. We've had 2 sessions on it. This week and last week, actually 3 sessions on it, building sustainable partnerships. Reflect on it. What has it meant for you? What do you think about the session? What stands out for you? Were there any surprises? Quick responses. Everybody. We'd like a response from everybody. Do this in the meeting chat and on your WhatsApp. What was done well? What will you take away from this? How do you feel about the session? Comments along those lines, please.
I can see we're typing furiously on the meeting group.
That's great.
Nothing coming up on the chat as yet. So I'm seeing typing. So I see first respondent, Lucy. Hala to you. Lucy's saying, very interesting, and I'm eager to learn more. Limpo is still thinking about sustainable. Oh, sorry. And then we have Ntsane, who's saying it was amazing, well planned. And then we have Limpo saying it was fantastic. The Haka video was fantastic. And then on the chat, in the conversation box, Clement is saying the session was very wonderful and motivating us. Videos were awesome. And then Stilo is also saying, well planned and we learned more. Wonderful and organized is what is coming up. Fast and Furious, it was wonderful. It was excellent. We've got that emoji that says sharp sharp with the 3 fingers. So it was good. It feels like the preparation paid off, team. We were effective. Sis Ali?
Yes, that's good. We were relevant. And I think this is important. I would like to invite you, besides doing your assessment for learning post this workshop, to feel free to put down any further questions for clarification, which we can pull up and consider. We will do this we'll respond either on Google Classrooms, or we will respond on the WhatsApp. So what's left for me to say is thank you so much to everybody present for all the engagement and for the preparation that you do before we meet on a Wednesday afternoon. I'd just like to say goodbye for now. We will see you soon, and you will get to know what the next sessions are all about. We are looking to do introduction to core skills. So we will see you pretty soon. I'll hand over to Vuyo and Tuli to say their goodbyes. Vuyo.
Bye. Thank you very much, colleagues. I've interacted with you for the whole of the week in the Google Classroom, in the WhatsApp, allocated work to you randomly, and you did not disappoint me. You reported and you brought your voice into the classroom. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Thanks, A.
Thank you.
Tuli?
Just to say to the colleague, halala sis Ali, halala sis Vuyo, halala to Farid for being part of the technical team, and then just halala to all the teachers for bearing with us while we're trying to change and work as effectively as we can in this new normal. We really appreciate that. And my message to you today is, I think from every one of us, let's manage the resources that we have now, because we've demonstrated how powerful those can be. Let's keep our energies and our engagement, and we'll see you next week, Thursday. Thank you so much.
Thursday.
Thank you for your creativity, and thank you for being teachers. We need you. See you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.